feel like brownies are like deceptively simple in that, like, a brownie, what is it? Just like butter and chocolate and flour and sugar, but the texture of a brownie is like integral to like the brownie eating experience, and getting the perfect brownie texture, at least for me, it was like quite a journey. When I was recipe testing to make brownies, I made like 4 or 5 batches, which normally I don't have to make that much. Normally I do like 2, and then I'm good. But brownies kept tripping me up because the texture is so important and I couldn't get it quite right. And honestly, I'm such a perfectionist and I still am not completely satisfied with my brownie recipe now. Like, it's good, I enjoy it, but I still struggle to get that like crackly top, you know what I mean? And so the science behind the crackly top is that when you completely dissolve all of the sugar granules in the brownie batter, either like by heating it up with like on the stove with like the melted butter and the chocolate, or by like whipping it into the eggs, that is what gives you the crackly brownie top. And I feel like no matter what I do and how hard I try, I just cannot dissolve all of my sugar, and it really annoys me. But texturally, I do really enjoy these brownies because they're quite chewy, and I think they're like the perfect balance between chocolatey and sweet, because I use dark chocolate and bittersweet chocolate. I think that's why it works so well. And I enjoy that these brownies still have a chewy texture even when you like bake them all the way, because I feel like a lot of brownie recipes rely on, you know, achieving the right texture by like having you underbake the brownie. But I don't necessarily want underbaked brownie all the time. And so I think this one still has a good texture even when you bake it completely. But yeah, one day I will finally figure out how to dissolve all of the sugar, and then I'll have a crackly top. I thought about using powdered sugar, and I did try that one time. and they had like a strawberry jam filling, and the amount of adults, specifically like older adults, that would come up to my stall just to like point at the matcha cookies and be like, ew, why is it green, was astounding to me. And the amount of people that would do this in front of their children specifically was also astounding to me. Because like, why would you like inadvertently make your child like a less adventurous and more picky eater? I just don't understand. And also, I don't feel like matcha is that out there of a flavor. Like, especially within the past year or so, matcha is definitely becoming more mainstream. Like, not only as like a drink option, but also like as flavors in other desserts. And also I made an olive oil cake, and like an orange olive oil cake with like a blueberry jam, and the amount of people who genuinely thought that I put like ground olives into this cake and were like acting very disgusted with me. I just couldn't believe it, especially because I had everything so clearly labeled, as well as like having the ingredients written on the label. And I don't think that olive oil cake is like that niche of like a cake. I feel like that's like a pretty common kind of cake. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but like it's literally just a regular cake, but you use olive oil. And the containers that I use for them are like clear, and I layer the cake almost like it's a trifle or like a cake parfait. And they come with like little mini sporks. It's very cute. And people will come up to my booth and be like, oh, that's so cute, like that looks so good. And then they'll just walk away and they won't buy it. And you know, like, you're not obligated to buy something when you walk up to someone's booth if they're selling stuff, but it was like almost every single person like had something nice to say about it, but I guess it wasn't good enough for them to buy. I don't know. I just was like very confused, and it was getting annoying. But yeah, I don't know. I wish that like the people where I lived were more open-minded to like the creative ideas that I have that I want to do with like flavors and food. But they only really want like a chocolate chip cookie or a regular donut, or you know, like, I don't even know, like a regular brownie. Literally, like these cherry brownies that I made, I think I sold maybe 2 of them. But when I make plain brownies, they sell better. But I just don't understand. Like, I feel like when you go and you buy food from a market, you would be more inclined to buy more specialty items, because like you can get the plain stuff and the regular traditional stuff at home or like at a grocery store. I don't know. And then like the items guess that's just this business that I found myself in. I don't know. So this might be my last season. Because I don't think I'm built for this, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I'm built for the market life. I'd like my Saturday mornings back. Also, this is like such a side tangent, but I had someone literally the other day pick up a peanut butter bar and so seriously look me in the eyes and ask, "Does this have nuts in it?" And I was like, "Yeah, there's peanuts in it." And he was like, "Oh, yeah, okay." And then he just put it down and walked away. So, I love working with the public. It's my favorite thing, and it definitely does not make me lose faith in humanity. But in all seriousness, though, I feel like I just feel kind of like stagnant and stunted there. I don't know, maybe one day I can like do little monthly like treat boxes for you guys. That could be fun. Let me know if you're interested in that. And also, I saw you guys really enjoyed the poetry that I read on a recent video, and I appreciated that you guys all liked my writing, and I would love to do more. So, just letting you all know that more will be coming soon. Sooner rather than later. I have to like go through my stack of poetry and revise some things, I guess, for you all. But that's good. I haven't written in a while, so that's good that it's forcing me to go back and do that stuff. Aren't these like little mini personal containers so cute? I got them I made cakes in them and I decorated them and they were so nice. Didn't realize I ordered so many, so I had a bunch left over, and I'm just finding ways to sort of use them up. But a part of the reason why I think I'm so like conflicted about the market stuff is that I'm quite stubborn, and I don't know, I feel like I don't want to just be giving up because I put like so much time and effort into this, but also like if something isn't serving me anymore like the way it needs to be, then I don't need to like force myself to stay to like prove something. Because that's not helpful or healthy. But I don't know, I feel like also so many people have sort of, ever since I started this, people have sort of began to like identify me as like the baker who does markets and does these things, and like if I don't do that anymore, if I like pivot the way that I'm doing it, I just feel like I'm subverting a lot of people in my personal lives' expectations or like perceptions of me. And I don't know if this is just a me thing, but for some reason I feel like I've always been the kind of person where like people will project onto and really latch onto that. Like even in school, like stronger and like I know just who you are and I can't wait to see you do XYZ. And it's like, did anyone stop to consider like if I wanted to do X, Y, and Z, or are you just saying that because you regret that you didn't do X, Y, Z, or that you didn't get to fulfill certain goals of yours? And now you're like putting it onto me to do that, which is like a lot of a responsibility that shouldn't even be mine in the first place. Or like anytime I like sort of mention that I like something, that becomes my like entire personality for some people. And I just like, I know that some of it's coming from a good place of like, oh, we want you to like succeed and do well and thrive in like the parts of your life that you enjoy, but it's always just like people talking at me and like telling me what they think I should be doing, instead of like taking a step back and asking me like, where do I want to take this? And where do I want to be going? You know? Like the amount of people that assume that just because I like to bake, I want to open a storefront. And never have I once ever said that I want to do that, and nor do I like plan on doing that, because I just don't think that's like my path. That's just not something that I want to do. In terms of baking, like that's not where I want to take it, but for some reason everyone just assumes that that is my end goal, and it's not. And I don't know where I'm going with this. These are sort of just half-baked thoughts from late at night, but I'm just annoyed that even at my grown age, people are still like trying to carve paths for me based on like what little information they know about me, instead of just like letting me be my own person in my own way. Which is why I have just, as I've gotten older, I've just become more of a private person, and I just don't really share a lot of parts of my life with people in my personal life anymore, because I'm just, honestly, I'm exhausted of hearing everyone's opinions about it. And I don't want all of those voices in my head. Like I have so many of my own iterations of my own voice in my head. Like I don't need anyone else's. Anyways, here's the finished